Hey, what's going on? So this is obviously going to be broken up into a series of videos since my camera timed out. So as you can see here, I've worked my way over the hindquarters and the pelt is coming along very well. I just used my Leatherman to get through the tail here, and eventually I'll peel that back and try to keep the tail intact. Out of the ones I've done so far, it's been a bit difficult for me to get the tail correct. There's a tool a lot of people use, or trappers use, and it kind of just like you can zip it right down. So I'm going to really try to take my time with this and try to keep this one intact. What ends up usually happening is I get all the way down to the tip here, and maybe like 2 or 3 inches kind of pop off when I pull, because there's just not a there's not a lot of strength when it comes down to the tip. So as you can see, I've got it worked down here pretty well, and I continue to work on through. I did get a couple nicks here, which I can fix with thread later on, but it does really piss me off because this was coming along very nicely. Yeah, again, this is not a tutorial or anything, so I'm kind of just working my way through it. One thing I will say is if you're using a really sharp knife, be careful. I sharpen mine before I start. Just, you know, it makes things a little bit easier, but you really don't need it extremely sharp. And I would kind of go with a little bit less sharp if it's your first time, because this stuff happens all the time if you're not paying attention. Also, when you're working your way through, take your time and try to leave as much flesh on the carcass as you can, because that really makes less work for you later on when you're fleshing the hide. That's where a lot of work comes in. This is very, you know, it's a little bit time consuming. This is fairly easy. This part right here is a little messy. It smells, but it's the easy part. The fleshing is the tough part. And the more of the actual meat you can leave on the carcass, the better. Another thing I'll let you know is once you've done a couple, you'll notice a couple things, particularly when it comes to the ligaments that stay onto the hide. Things like, if I can find one here, I don't know, that's fat right there. But when you are working the hide back, you'll see these, like, they look like almost like little tubes. Well, they look exactly like this right here. This is a ligament, and some of them get stuck to the hide, and they're a pain in the ass to get off later on when you're fleshing. So my suggestion is to get that off if you can. Kind of what I like using. I use my Texas toothpick here, and it's very narrow at the tip, so I can get in behind things and then work my way down like that. Most likely what I'm going to end up doing here is, you know, finishing this up, and I'll show you one that I've done already, just to kind of lay that out for you. And then I'll post. Hopefully I remember to put on the video that this is graphic, because I don't want to get in trouble. And I apologize for anybody who's offended by this. This is just me trying to, you know, make use of, you know, someone who manages their land to make sure that their family and their pets are safe. And so it's kind of almost like recycling in a way, I guess, if that makes sense. I'm going to finish this up and get with you soon. All right, embrace your creativity. Peace.